So in our last lecture, we covered about the flower and the inflorescence. So let us just do one paragraph of it. So based on the position of calyx, corolla and androecium with respect to ovary on the thalamus. So what we have to check? We have to check the position of ovary on the thalamus, right? So ovary, it is a female reproductive part, so it is called as gynoecium, right? So from this there a word came which is gynous. Now let us see. You can see the first figure. It is hypogynous. Hypogynous means ovary is on the top of thalamus, exact on the top of thalamus. B and C are perigynous. It means it is not exactly on the top, right? But it is sub-inferior, right? But it is sub-inferior. So I can say here it is superior ovary. Here it is sub-inferior ovary. Sub-inferior means not totally inferior. And last one is epigynous, means inferior ovary. Ovary is totally inside the thalamus itself. This green part is thalamus. You can see the examples of it, right? In hypogynous, ovary is at a superior position. Example is, here you can see the example, mustard, china rose and brinjal, right? In perigynous, that is, you can see a rose, plum. In epigynous, you also can see the figure over here. It is totally inferior, so guava and cucumber, and the ray florets of sunflower. Now let us move to the parts of a flower. So there are mainly four holes of the flower, that is calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. These are the four parts of the flower. Now what is calyx? Calyx is the outermost hole of the flower. It is made up of sepals. You are supposed to remember few things: outermost, sepals, green in color, and it protects the flower. So its function is to protect the flower. Now for sepals, I am writing one word over here, sapillus. Now what do you mean by sapillus? Gamosepalous means sepals is fused. Gamo means fused and poly means free. So gamosepalous means sepals are united, right? It means they are fixed. And in second one, right, that is polysepalous, the sepals are free over here, right? So free sepal and a joint sepals. I will show you the diagram even. Corolla, it means a group of petals, right? You can see over here group of petals. Petals means a bright colored. The function is pollination. Corolla can be also gamopetalous and polypetalous. The shape and color of corolla will vary according to the plant. Few plants have a different color corolla, that is a red color, light red, dark red, anything can occur, right? Corolla may be tubular, bell shaped, funnel or wheel shaped. You can see some flowers are tubular like structure, some have a bell shaped structure, some have a funnel shaped structure like flower, right? So these are different parts of it. Gamosepalous, you can say that these sepals are joined together, right? And poly means they are different from each other. Now the one new word over here is estivation. As you know, inflorescence means arrangement of flower on the stem, right? But here is one word, estivation. Estivation means arrangement of sepals and petals inside the flower itself, right? So here inside the flower, how they are arranged, that we are going to tell you. So the main type of estivations are velvet, twisted, imbricate and vexillary. These are four types of estivation. Now what happens over here is, when all the units are separated, right, it means all the petals are separated. See here, you can see all are separated. That is called as a velvet estivation, right? They are not overlapping with each other, they are different to one another. That is velvet estivation. Here you have to learn the examples, right? If one margin of the appendage overlaps that of the other one, right, it is called as twisted. You can see over here only one margin overlap to other, so it is twisted. Third one, if the margin of sepal or petal overlap one another, it means you can say one is over here, then other will be on outer, like this way, right? So that is the third one, that is imbricated. And the last one, that is vexillary. It means that the largest overlap the two lateral petals, which in turn overlap the two small. It means, see over here, one big one, then other two, then other two. It may vary, right? So this is vexillary. So these are four type of estivation. You have to just remember it by assuming or by imagining the figure in your mind. So again, four type of estivation: velvet, twisted, imbricate and vexillary. You have to learn the examples of each. It was in calyx and corolla. Now let us study about androecium. Androecium is composed of a stamen, right? Each stamen represent a male reproductive part. It is having a stalk filament, stalk and filament. You know it very well, like this way it is there, right? Now each anther is bilobed and each lobe has two chambers. Now see over here, each anther is bilobed, means each anther has two lobes, two parts. It is divided into two chambers. These pollen grains are produced in this sac. The sterile stamen is called as staminode. Sterile stamen means which does not produce a pollen grain. That is called as a staminode. Staminode means which doesn't produce that pollen grain. Stamen of flower may be united with other membranes such as petal or other. Now see, stamen, if it is united or if it is mixed, attached to petals, it is called as epipetalous. Okay, right? If it is attached to the perianth as in lily, it is epiphylloros, right? The stamen in the flower may either remain free, right? You have to remember one thing, poly means free, right? As we have learned again in the past, andrews means androecium, polyandreous means free anther, right? Or it may be united by varying degree. Okay, so one word is staminode. Staminode means no pollen grain is produced. Epipetalous, androecium, that is stamen and petal. Epipylorus, stamen and perianth. Then you can see over here, these were the three words which we done. Then you can see polyandrous, that is free, and free androecium, that is free stamen. Monoadelphous, it means one bunch. It simply means that every stamen is like this way in one bunch. Monoadelphous. Diadelphous means they are in a two bunch. Polyadelphous, they are in a many bunches together, right? So these are the few words which you are supposed to remember over here. In polyadelphous, citrus fruit is the example. Filament may also vary in length. Few have a long filament, few have a short filament. Now moving to the next is gynoecium. Gynoecium means ovary part, that is carpel consists of three: stigma, style and ovary, right? Though style connects the both stigma and a ovary. Ovary has got ovules. Ovary has got a ovule. They have a cushion like placenta over here to help the nutrient to give to the ovules, right? When more than one carpel is present, right? If there are more than one carpel, it's this one is carpel. If there is more than one carpel, then again two chances, it may be free or it may be fused. If it is free, it is called as apocarpellus. Carpel means carpellus, okay? So apocarpellus. If it is fused, then cyanocarpellus, right? Example is mustard and tomato. After fertilization, ovule will develop into seed and ovary into fruit, right? That should be known to everybody, that once a fruit is matured, this ovary, it becomes into fruit and ovule into seed. Now what is placentation? We studied arrangement of flower, right, on the stem. We studied arrangement of sepal and petals on the flower. Now we are going to study the arrangement of ovules. Three arrangements until now we have studied. So arrangement of ovules within the ovary is called as placentation. So what is placentation? Arrangement of ovules in the ovary. It is of different types. Let us see with the example itself. First of all, marginal. Ovules are arranged like this way on the margin. Axil, in the center it is like this way arranged. Okay. Third is parietal. It means through the corners it is arranged. D is free central. So it is free. It is not attached. And E is basal. Basal means like this way. So when placenta is axile and the ovules are attached in multiocular, it is called as axile. Axile I have told like this way, right? As in China rose, tomato, lemon. See, you can assume the structure of tomato. In tomato, seeds are arranged over here like this way. In pea, it is arranged like this way, right? Then in perianth, it develops into the inner walls of the ovary, right? And example is mustard. In mustard it is like this way. And in perimost and dianthus, right, placenton is free placenta, like that. You may not have seen that. In basal placentation, it develops at the base of the ovary and single ovule is attached to it. Example is sunflower and marigold. So this is whole about the arrangement of ovules inside the ovary. This completes the structure of flower, right? Now next part is fruit over here. Fruit is a feature of flowering plant. The fruit will be converted into flower, right? If fruit is matured, that is, fruit is what? A ripened ovary, right? So fruit is formed without fertilization of the ovary. It is called as parenchycarpic fruit. Now see, this is important thing to learn, right? If fruit is formed without fertilization of ovary, ovary is not fertilized, still fruit is formed. It is called as parthenocarpic fruit. So generally fruit has got three layers. See, pericarp, it means outer layer. Pericarp may be dry or fleshy. When pericarp is thick and fleshy, it is differentiated into outer epicarp, mesial mesocarp and inner endocarp. Three carp. Epi means outer, meso means inner, middle, endo means inner. Okay, and seed is there. But generally fruit has got one wall, it is pericarp. Pericarp may be dry or fleshy, as I have told you. If pericarp is fleshy, then and then only it will convert into these three parts. If pericarp is not fleshy like mango, it is dry like coconut, then it will not get converted into three parts. That means we cannot see that now. In mango and coconut, the fruit is called as drupe. What this fruit is called as? Drupe, right? D-R-U-P-E, drupe. They develop from monocarpellary superior ovary. Mono means one, carpellary means it has only one carpel in that. Superior ovary means thalamus was over here and ovary was over here, right? And there was only one seed. That is why in mango there is only one seed, but in tomato there are many seed inside. Understood? So this is a point on it, right? The pericarp is well differentiated into outer thin epicarp, middle meso-edible carp, that is the juicy part which we eat, inner shiny stone hard endocarp, right? That is the seed of the mango which we cut down and then we get a soft seed. In coconut it is also drupe. The mesocarp is fibrous. You can see the mesocarp over here. It is very fibrous mesocarp, right? Here it is fleshy, here it is fibrous. Understood? So this is about the fruit. Again, there are many types of fruits, that is fleshy fruit, dry fruit. Fleshy fruit is also of different types, right? And even few dry fruits are also of different types. That is not there in right now in your syllabus. We'll study it later on.